If you could visit any Disney park after you die, would you?
That's not possible.
Hell no.
It's gonna cost you.
Can you even imagine, instead of being an annual pass holder, you'd be like an afterlife pass holder? No blackout dates, no tired sore feet, all the Disney snacks you want. Well, it's some Disney fans' last wish to physically be in a Disney park after they die by having their ashes scattered there. The problem is that Disney's like, you can't do that. This is private property. We'll kick you out and throw your ashes in the trash. And I'm like, well, get this guy out of here. Jeez, you gotta play fair. As a former cast member, I can affirm that many Disney fans' ashes are spread all over the parks. It's way more common than people think, with some of the most popular places being flower beds, the Haunted Mansion, and the Pirates of the Caribbean. I could tell you, just don't do it. It's against the rules, it's unlawful, you're probably gonna get caught. However, I know that if your grandma's last dying wish is to have her ashes spread at Disneyland, you're probably going to try to spread her ashes at Disneyland. Well, I definitely don't want you or your loved ones kicked out of the park, and I definitely don't want you or your loved one's ashes being thrown in the trash. So here are 7 tips for how to spread ashes the right way and help prevent you from having that happen. Number 7, never ask Disney or cast members for permission. Their answer will always be a flat out no. A couple of years ago, Ryan and I made a video about the weirdest things banned at Disneyland, and at that time, cremated remains were one of the things on that list, including urns, boxes, and vases. But surprisingly, Disney has since removed those items. I don't think that means they're cool with it now. I think they removed it from the list because I think they just don't want to call attention to it, and I think they just kind of want to pretend like it doesn't happen. Number 6, bring a very small amount. These are my dad's cremains, and it is heavy, and he was a smaller than average size guy at 5'4". He died at 50 years old from a heart attack, and I have had him in my closet for the last 20 years. He does look like a big ass Pillsbury biscuit can with the paper ripped off. He totally deserves better, but I do hope one day I will spread him somewhere that he used to enjoy going to. But my point with showing you this is that no one in their right mind would take this to Disneyland. It's way too big. You would bring a much smaller amount. So what does it matter if you spread a cup or a teaspoon or a tablespoon of ashes? At any amount, large or small, the wish is still being granted. So do yourself a favor and only bring a little bit. Half a teaspoon, a tablespoon at the most. This will be much more easy to spread and conceal, which leads us to number 5. You need to be discreet as possible going through security. Do not bring anything obvious. No urns, no baggies, no boxes, no vases. None of that. If security finds these at bag check, they will definitely prohibit you from entering. This is why you need to wear jewelry that conceals the ashes. I have been wearing jewelry this entire video that has ashes in it. Can you tell? This pendant has some ashes in it, and this ring also has ashes in it. Well, it used to have ashes in it. I was wearing it when I walked down the aisle getting married to Ryan at the Bellagio Hotel Chapel in Las Vegas. And then after the ceremony, when we were leaving, I was horrified to look down at my ring and realize the ashes were gone. The latch had unhinged at some point. They had fallen out somewhere between the chapel and the parking garage. I like to think that my dad made a fast one to the bar, the casino, because he would have been very happy to spend an eternity at one of those places. Just make sure that your ring or your locket has a good latch on it. There are many different names for this kind of jewelry, and they're easily found on Amazon or Etsy for a very decent price. Cremation pendant necklaces, poison rings, hidden compartment rings, and many others like you see here. If you're liking this video so far, or you're finding it helpful, can you please subscribe if you haven't already? Thank you so much much for supporting me and this channel. Number 4, your goal is to spread the ashes without anyone seeing you do it. But with so many cameras and undercover security and plain clothing and other guests and cast members, it just makes it so difficult. So just keep it cool. You're not there to have a funeral. Spreading the ashes should be non-ceremonious. Don't do anything that will call attention to you or the people you're with. You can give a eulogy or kind words after you've spread the ashes, and you should probably do this in a different area than where you spread them. Another important point is to not literally spread the ashes. Don't throw the ashes, don't spread, don't scatter. You want to drop the ashes. Dropping will cause much less of a scene than scattering. And remember to take note of which way the wind is blowing when you do it. For example, if you're dropping ashes into the rivers of America from the Mark Twain, you really want to make sure that the ashes are not going to blow back on you or into the boat. Be sure to watch the end of this video because I will be sharing where the best places to spread ashes are. Number 3, never spread ashes in an attraction. This one is such a bummer because many of us or our loved ones want to be with our favorite attraction. However, there are 2 major problems with this. Number 1, ashes will be vacuumed up and put in the trash. Number 2, if cast members or cameras catch you spreading those ashes, they have to close down the attraction. When ashes are caught being spread inside an attraction, cast members must call a HEPA cleanup code, and that means they need a vacuum with the HEPA filter that will pick up the fine particles of the ashes. Human cremains are not hazardous or dangerous, but Disney treats them as such. They treat them as a biohazard. And that is because when they are approaching a powdery, ashy substance, they have to treat it like it's something more sinister. Like remember anthrax in the male days? They're just being extra careful. The attraction shutting down for this reason really inconveniences guests and cast members, especially guests who may be only able to go to Disneyland one time in their entire life. So out of respect for others, please don't interrupt their magical experience or their visit by spreading ashes on an attraction. There are so many other places to spread your loved one's ashes outside the attraction, and it's not in the flower beds, which is where most people end up doing it. I really want to detour you from putting ashes in flower beds because they really won't be there that long. Landscaping is tended to and changed out almost every single night. Number 2, never spread ashes on an attraction unless it's a water ride. Okay, I advise to never spread ashes on an attraction. However, I do think that water attractions have the green light. Why is spreading ashes in water best? Because if you're caught, the attraction will not be closed down for cleanup. Therefore, guests will not be inconvenienced. The water will not be drained because of it. With that said, do not spread ashes within full sight of a cast member. So, Jungle Cruise may be off the table unless you're really sneaky. However, there are some really great spots that have water that are less supervised. For example, the rivers of America while riding the Mark Twain or the sailing ship Columbia, Tom Sawyer's Island, Snow White's Wishing Well, the waterfall between the treehouse and the Pirates of the Caribbean, or the water outside of the castle. Am I missing any? Number 1, if you're too afraid to spread your loved one's ashes at the park, or you want your own ashes spread at the park, but you don't want your family to get in trouble, don't worry. Ashes can be brought to the park, but not left there. That way you don't have to stress about spreading them, and you get to bring your loved one with you every single time you go. Personally, I love this option. If your religion prohibits you from being cremated, or you just prefer to be buried, there are still ways that you can honor the love for Disney parks when you die or your loved one dies. This can be done by collecting a little bit of soil or water in a small plastic jar. I say plastic because glass jars are not allowed. That little jar full of a piece of a Disney park can be buried with your loved one or yourself. Now, if that's not possible, you can always be buried or buried your loved one with their favorite Disney souvenir or in their favorite Mickey ears. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.